Right now, there are 3,527 homes sitting on the market across the entire Coachella Valley, and the number of buyers showing up to purchase them has dropped nearly 20% below what we would normally expect this time of year. That gap between the homes available and the people actually buying them has completely flipped the script on who controls the deal in this Coachella Valley market. 7 out of 9 cities here just crossed into official buyer's market territory, and one city recorded a 20% price collapse that nobody saw coming. Hi, Neal here, your local living in PalmSprings Realtor, and today I'm breaking down the March 2026 numbers city by city, giving sellers some straight talk advice, and then answering the biggest questions real buyers are posting on Reddit right now. To understand who has the upper hand in a deal, we have to look at one number that tells the entire story. The months of sales ratio for the Coachella Valley ended February at 5.7 months, which serves as a supply and demand gauge for our local area. This ratio measures how long it would take to sell every single home currently listed if no houses hit the market, and the current pace of sales stayed exactly the same. When the number is below 4 months, the sellers are in control. But once it climbs above 6 months, the buyers take over the driver's seat. So while the valley-wide average sits at 5.7, the reality is that 7 out of our 9 cities have already crossed that 6-month threshold on their own. This means that in the specific neighborhoods where you are likely shopping, we're already firmly in a buyer's market territory. The most shocking statistic in this entire report is that sales are currently 19.4% below historical norms. This isn't just a comparison to last year, but a look at what was considered a normal market back in 2016 through 2019 before things really got crazy. This is the most telling detail because it proves that buyer demand has not returned the way that many sellers were hoping it would. When demand stays low, while the number of homes for sale stays steady, the entire market dynamic shifts. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Total inventory across the entire Coachella Valley came in at 3,527 units, which is essentially flat compared to last year with only a tiny 0.5% increase. We didn't see a massive flood of new listings or a sudden spike in supply that changed the math. Instead, the volume of actual sales simply has not kept pace with the homes that have become available. And that growing gap is what gives buyers more time to think and more room to negotiate. You might be wondering what all this means for actual home prices. The median price for a single-family home in the Coachella Valley ended February at $699,000, which represents a very small 0.1% drop from 1 year ago. Attached homes like condos and townhomes landed an even $500,000 price, showing a 1% decrease over the same period 1 year ago. Prices are not crashing, and that isn't the story here. But the leverage has clearly moved toward the buyer, and you can see it in the discounted numbers. Single-family homes are now selling at an average discount of 2.8% off the original list price. For a condo or townhome, that discount grows to 3.3% below what the seller was originally asking for. So if you're looking at a $700,000 home, a 2.8% discount puts about $20,000 back into your pocket compared to the original asking price. That gap is widening every month, especially when you consider that the average discount was only 2.5% at this time last year. The era of intense bidding is also fading away quite fast. Only 8.9% of the homes sold for more than the actual list price last month, which is a noticeable drop from the 11.4% we saw 1 year ago. Homes are also sitting longer, with the median time on market now hitting 48 days compared to 46 days last year. Sellers no longer have the luxury of sitting back and just waiting for a perfect over-asking price offer to walk through the front door. The Valley average is a great starting point, but the good news is that where you choose to buy or sell makes a massive difference in the deal you can get. Let's look at these numbers city by city because the Coachella Valley-wide averages don't tell a full story. Averages can hide a lot of details that you actually need to make a decision during the home purchase process. Rancho Mirage currently sits at the very top of the buyer opportunity list, and the data shows why. The months of sales ratio hit 7.4 recently, which is the highest number in the entire valley, and puts Rancho Mirage deep into the buyer's market territory. So if you're shopping for a home in Rancho Mirage right now, you have more negotiating room than anywhere else in the Coachella Valley. Sellers in this area are competing against a long list of other available homes. So buyers who understand that dynamic will have the upper hand every time they make an offer. Palm Springs is a different story entirely. Inventory in Palm Springs reached 752 units, but homes are still moving in a median of 43 days, which is one of the fastest selling times that you'll find here in the Coachella Valley. The average price for a single-family home in Palm Springs is $1,127,144,000. With months of sales ratio just under 6, the city isn't technically a buyer's market yet, but the trend is clearly moving in that direction. Well-priced homes here still find buyers quickly, so you need to come prepared even if you aren't facing the same frantic urgency that defined the market 2 years ago. Palm Desert holds the title for the highest sales volume in the entire Coachella Valley, with 137 units moving per month. And it also has the most inventory, with 796 units on the market. This combination creates the widest possible selection for anyone looking to buy, allowing you to compare dozens of similar properties before making a choice. Because there is so much to choose from, sellers are under constant pressure to make their home stand out. It's the most active market in the valley right now, but it's also the most competitive environment for sellers because of the sheer volume of listings that they're up against. La Quinta is seeing about 90 sales every month and continues to be one of the more balanced markets in the entire Coachella Valley. It isn't quite as buyer heavy as Rancho Mirage, but it also isn't as crowded with listings as Palm Desert. You should watch this area closely for value plays, especially if you're interested in second home segments where La Quinta has traditionally remained very strong. Cathedral City actually has the lowest months of sales ratio in the valley at 5.1, which makes it the most seller-friendly city on the list right now. If you're looking to buy a home here, do not expect the same kind of negotiating leverage that you would find in Rancho Mirage. On the flip side, if you're selling a home in Cathedral City, your position is a little stronger than almost anywhere else in the Coachella Valley. Indian Wells reported an average price increase of 8.6% for single-family homes compared to last year, but you shouldn't read too much into that specific number. This jump was caused by a small handful of very high-end sales that skew the average, rather than a broad trend affecting every home in the city. This is a great reminder that city-level statistics can shift dramatically whenever a few luxury transactions move through the system. Desert Hot Springs is where you'll find the affordability story of the entire Coachella Valley. Prices for attached homes there dropped 20.6% year over year, which is the single largest price decline found in the entire Coachella Valley. If the price tag is your main concern and you're willing to be flexible on your location, Desert Hot Springs is worth a serious look. Just make sure you go in with clear expectations about the trade-offs regarding distance to services and the general feel of the community compared to places like Palm Springs or La Quinta. Bermuda Dunes has the highest median selling time in the valley at 83 days. Sellers in this community are waiting the longest to find a buyer, and that means patient buyers who do their homework to negotiate from a position of real strength. Coachella stands out as one of the most efficient markets right now, featuring the fastest selling time at 35 days, but the smallest average price discount at only 1.6%. Homes in Coachella are moving quickly and with much less friction during the negotiations than what we're seeing across the rest of the entire Coachella Valley. So what does all of this actually mean if you're one of those with a for sale sign in your front yard? Well, the good news is for anyone selling right now is that the market hasn't really crashed. However, the days of easy sales are long over, and sellers who try to price their homes like it's still 2022 are finding themselves stuck on the market. The data makes the reality very clear. Everything starts with your price. You need to base your asking price on comparable sales within the last 30 days rather than looking back at your neighbor or what your neighbor got back in 2023 or what you saw in the real estate market just 6 months ago. The homes that are selling in 43 days are the ones that are priced correctly on the very first day, not the ones that require 2 price cuts and a difficult conversation with the agent. If your home is listed over $2 million, you need to pay extra attention to these trends. Homes in that high price range are selling at an average discount of 4.3% right now. The higher your asking price, the more aggressive you need to be with your initial positioning to attract a serious buyer. You should also take care of any deferred maintenance before you put your home on the market. Buyers have plenty of options today, and most of them would rather move into a next property that's already ready than spend time negotiating over your repairs. That's simply the reality of the market today. currently with 3,527 units of inventory available. In cities with high inventory like Palm Desert and Rancho Mirage, the way you present and stage your home really matters more than it has in the past few years. You're competing against hundreds of other listings, and you can be sure that buyers are comparing your home to every single one of them. You should plan for a marketing window of 45 to 60 days and then build your entire strategy around that timeline instead of hoping for a quick sale in the first week. If you want a custom pricing and positioning strategy for your specific property, I offer free Zoom consultations, and you can find the link to book one in the description below. Now, let's get into the Reddit questions and answers, because these are the exact real questions that buyers are asking right now. The first question asks if now is actually a good time to buy in Palm Springs, or does it make more sense to wait till prices drop even further? Well, here's an honest answer. If you're waiting for a total market crash, the current data does not support that. Valley median prices are essentially flat, with single-family homes down only 0.1% year over year. So we're looking at stable prices rather than an actual collapse. What you actually have today that didn't exist 2 years ago is real negotiating power and the time to do proper due diligence with motivated sellers. That 2.8% average discount on detached homes represents real money, because on $1 million property, that's $28,000 in savings right out of the gate. The real risk of waiting isn't that prices will suddenly spike, but that your current negotiating window might close. If interest rates drop and other buyers start getting back into the market, the better question to ask yourself is whether you're leaving money on the table by sitting out a market that has already shifted to your favor. The second question is, how much under the asking price is reasonable to offer in this environment? Well, you should use the 2.8% Valley average as your starting baseline, but make sure to adjust your strategy based on the specific city. In Rancho Mirage, where the months of sales ratio sits at 7.4, opening with an offer 4 to 5% below asking is a defensible position that shows that you're reading the market rather than just lowballing. PalmSprings sees inventory staying high, while homes still move in about 43 days, so you probably want to stay closer to the 2.5 to 3% range for properties that show well. In Bermuda Dunes, the median selling time is stretched to 83 days, which means those sellers have been sitting for a long time and your leverage is very real. Days on the market will be your best friend during these negotiations, because the longer a home sits empty, the more room you typically have to work the price down. The third question is, hey, what's the catch with Desert Hot Springs having such low prices? Well, there really isn't a catch, but there definitely are trade-offs that you need to know about before signing anything. That 20.6% year-over-year drop for attached homes is a massive shift, and it's also turned Desert Hot Springs into the most affordable entry point in the entire Coachella Valley by wide margins. What you're trading for with that lower price is proximity to the core amenities like high-end restaurants and retail shops that you'd find in Palm Springs or Palm Desert. The community feel is also quite different, and the short-term rental market is much smaller than in neighboring cities. But if your main goal is finding a primary residence where price is the biggest factor, then Desert Hot Springs definitely deserves a look. But if you're buying for a specific lifestyle or rental income, you need to really understand the local landscape first. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or retiring here in the Coachella Valley, I'd really love the opportunity to chat with you. My direct number is right there in the description below, so call me, text me anytime. You can also reach me by email, and that's also in the description. And don't hesitate to reach out. I'm more than happy to help, and there's no pressure at all. If you want to go deeper before we talk, you can download the free Palm Springs Best Neighborhoods Guide using the link below. And you can also book a free Zoom call with me so we can put together a real plan around your specific goals, whether that's finding the right city, the right price range, or the right timing. There's a lot of great content on this channel about moving here, the different neighborhoods, what daily life actually looks like, a driving tour, and a whole lot more. So stick around and check out my channel. And make sure you watch this next video all about living here in the Palm Springs area.